For a bit of a change of pace now, we've spoken about all the different technologies and technology towers, and you've met all the techies, and now let's kind of bring this home a little bit into something a little bit more real. So I'm joined on the sofa by the amazing Neil Marley, who is our, what are you now?
Sales and Services Director.
That's him. And we're going to be talking about kind of industry-specific kind of skews of this and how we kind of approach different industries with a narrative around this whole kind of cloud services thing. So Neil, on that note, we've kind of invented, for want of a better word, a conversation for the architectural, engineering, and construction industry.
Yep.
So, what kind of things do we tell them, and how have we tailored our approach to them, given their kind of sensibilities around their
needs?
And
yeah.
Their needs, yeah.
So they have a couple of imperatives in their business which really play into cloud really well. They are normally extremely cost conscious as part of the overall project. IT is the last thing. After you've designed a building and built it, how do you manage the IT around that whole thing is something which they don't think about necessarily up front. And there's a certain urgency of requirement. So again, when you have to go and form a joint venture to design a power station or a new shopping centre, whatever it is, there's always I have no money, I need to do it quickly, which plays really nicely into cloud. So what we can do straight away for a construction company, an architectural practice, is create a pop-up IT infrastructure for them in a very short order. We can deploy Azure, so the technology underneath that is obviously Azure. But the need they have for speed and quick, cheap computing that can be teared down in, say, 6 months is really important. The other thing that plays really nicely to Microsoft's cloud vision from a construction point of view is the global nature of the deployments and the way that we can match 24 data centers globally against their global requirements from a project basis. So if you're in oil and gas, if you're working in a whole bunch of facilities management companies, or you're working on a multidisciplinary project where you've got lots of supply chain people all across the world, you can deploy applications, websites, so on globally. So that's really powerful. And again, turn them on and off, use Microsoft Network, use the CDN and all that great global networking stuff that exists. So you can have the same application estate in multiple places and all working together nicely. And the last thing is the applications that they use, which plays into that. So if you are thinking about CAD and you're thinking about Autodesk Rivet or Bentley MicroStation or some other CAD tool, how do you use BIM, Building Information Modeling, with those large data sets, and how you share them across different geographies? So if you have the architect in London and you have the lead engineering design team, say, in Sydney, and you have mechanical and electrical and all the other supply chain people working on that project, how do you share a model file across continents? That's traditionally been a very hard problem. But with Azure, what you can do is you can store that information in the cloud and share and synchronize that with various tool sets on top of storage. So there's it's almost like a perfect workload for architecture, engineering, construction, and operations. You can deploy global solutions cheaply, quickly, and they're fit for purpose for a specific domain and disciplines inside construction.
Sure. And presumably, a lot of this stuff's kind of blueprintable. I mean, a lot of these core IT services are pretty much the same, regardless of the thing. So, I mean, again, there's a provisioning speed, and we touched on this when we talked to the guys earlier about you can go from a standing start to production-ready, enterprise-grade services really, really quickly, and much more quickly. So, have we seen that in the real world, where we've gone from kind of zero to hero in like?
Yeah, so we've had some examples where on one particular project we had a requirement to stand up about 130 servers very fast for a joint venture. 3 major multidisciplinary engineering practices got together to do a JV on a refit and design. And we spun up the whole infrastructure from start to finish in about 6 months. We got some stuff on the ground very fast, and then we added to it in a program. So you can deploy compute, storage, and networking blocks really, really quickly. Applications that you may want to use and things you may want to migrate from another place obviously take a bit more time. But the fundamentals of getting a VM up to do something, storage, and get networking to work together happens really fast.
Okay. So I'd like to kind of bring this conversation back to us as well at some point here. So I suppose why .NET hanging question mark? I mean, if you were to talk to some of these kind of senior stakeholders in the IT organisations that we're talking about here. I mean, what's the fundamental kind of 25-word or less, I suppose, message to them as to why we are the partner that they should be talking to?
I think the answer to that really is it's a combination of experience in this industry. So we've got some demonstrable, referenceable customers they can talk to about what we've done in this space, coupled with the experience we have on the platform. So the bit they're buying from us, the value they're getting from us, is the making all the mistakes that we've made through our journey and continue to learn from. They're gaining that experience. And so we can say, don't do it that way, do it this way. You can get it right, it will work first time. And you'll have a fantastic enterprise-grade solution very quickly.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you, Neil.
Pleasure.
So there you have it. If you live in any one of these industry kind of sectors, then come and talk to us.